giving people 3 more minutes to join in, and we'll get started. For those of you that just joined us, happy International Women's Day. It actually is today, and there will be an extra prize to be given away for that reason, basically. So we have a nice care package for women, and in a form of a basket. So we'll definitely be getting, somebody will definitely be winning that. It's not just this session for that prize, just so you know. It involves the other ones as well. The other sessions, the other one's at 3, and then the other one's at 7. So please make sure that you are connected to our event page. If you can't find it for whatever reason, shoot me over an email and we'll send you the link. That's where we post the winners. Okay, and really any information, that is also where our speakers have the ability to showcase their products or services, and you can connect with them there if you so wish. So we're calling it window shopping for services, and then a couple of our speakers that have retail products, it's retail shopping if you so need to do or feel the need to do. We're trying to support each other. We're trying to support local if you're local. So yeah. So without further ado, we're going to get started. It's 5 after. I'm Adriana Torres, and I have started a community called Women, Wellness, and Wealth. And that is through my company. I am the owner of Soaring Financial Services. And I have a passion for the empowerment of women. So what was I going to do with where I was, and how was I going to manage that in order to bring information to women? So I created a community page, and it's growing by the minute. This event actually is now international. Do we have any international people? I know that Jill is from the US, right, Jill? Just give us a thumbs up. Yeah, yeah. And I know for other events we have international attendees, so I'm really, really excited about this year's event. Thank you so much to our speakers, and thank you for all the attendees, for everybody that registered and has taken the time to be with us today. So with COVID, I thought, you know, we are all going through different circumstances because of this pandemic. So I thought, you know, what would really we want to hear about today on the actual day of International Women's Day? And Jodi and I had been trying to connect for a little while now. So I reached out and I said, Jodi, get us out of here. And Jill did a wonderful job. She has palm trees there flowing in the background. So thanks, Jill, for that. So I said, Jodi's going to be talking to us today about her area of expertise. So without further ado, I introduce to you Jodi Simpson, and she will actually introduce herself.
Great. Hi. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining today on International Women's Day. I'm honored to be able to speak, and especially about one of my favorite topics of travel. So I'm just going to get it set up so that I can share my screen. Sorry about that. Okay. Adriana, have you already allowed me to share? Okay, sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out here. It's coming up differently on my computer.
You need to accept, I believe. So it said make co-host, and I did. So you need to accept, Jill.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Jodi.
I don't see anywhere where it says to accept.
Just try sharing your screen then.
Yeah, it's not coming up, sorry. It has participants, invite, chat, pause recording, and stop recording.
It might be at the top.
Oh, here we go. Yep, now I've got it.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. And I'll remember to click on the sound because I forgot that when I practiced. All right, so can everyone see my screen there? All right, perfect. All right, so welcome to our travel seminar on Get Me Out of Here. We are hearing from lots of our clients that they are ready to travel. They want to get out. They want to explore. They want to have fun. So without further ado, let's just do a little bit of an intro. So as you can see on my screen, we have some pictures of my personal travel. So my daughter, Elizabeth, has been traveling since she's 4 months old. Everyone thought I was absolutely nuts to take my daughter, who was 4, in the car to Florida. But we did it and she enjoyed it, and she has been awesome traveler ever since. She's my travel partner lately, so it's been fun. All right. Sorry, I'm just working here. All right, so travel trends post-COVID. Domestic travel is going to be hot this summer. We feel that during the summer, people will want to travel in Canada. So if it is open, there will be more travel through the Canadian provinces and even in Ontario. The Ontario provincial parks have said that their bookings are up 100% over this time last year, which is pretty awesome, I think. Last minute all-inclusives, I believe that more people will be traveling once the international destinations open up, that people will be wanting to go internationally and we'll be doing last minute. So we're going to be getting those phone calls where they say, hey, book me, I want to go now. So if, sorry, my daughter, just a background information, sorry guys, my daughter's school has been calling because they're having all kinds of issues at the school. So I just wanted to make sure it was nothing urgent. You know, as women, as I mentioned earlier for International Women's Day, as women, we have to multitask, unfortunately. All right, so back to our bucket list travel. I think people, because they haven't been traveling for a full year, will be doing their bucket list trips. So these are the trips that they've been wanting to do and they've been saving up for. So now all of a sudden they're going to want to go and do the trip. Family gatherings. We haven't been able to see our family forever. So I think there'll be a lot more multi-generational trips, and people will be wanting to get families together and do holidays. More people will be using their travel advisors because they realize the issues happening when you go away and something happens, you at least have someone to help you. And of course, our travel insurance, people aren't going to be wanting to travel without the travel insurance now. Suppliers are offering us some really good booking incentives. Things like your final payment isn't due until closer to departure date, deposits are able to be refunded or moved easily. All right, so what do you do if you have a future cruise credit or a future travel credit? Most suppliers are extending their deadlines either indefinitely so that your credit does not expire. Some are allowing you to transfer it, and some have just extended the dates. So if you have a travel credit, you just need to check with your supplier and see what it is. And honestly, it's changing from day to day, month to month, so everything changes. What about new travel? If you want to book new travel, because right now there are some great incentives, you just need to make sure that your deposit, you can either change it or move it, or if it's refundable. And check your cancellation insurance, whether it's through your credit card, your bank, work, etc., that you can cancel or change it because of COVID. And also check for your requirements for the country that you want to go to, because some of them have special requirements. What do you need to know? Our poor little passports have been tucked away for over a year, so check the validity of them. A lot of people forget about it and then they book their trip and then all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, my passport's expired, what do I do? So check before you book because it will take a while to get them all redone. And also check the country you're going to make sure that they don't have any special requirements, such as Cuba, who requires validity for 6 months when you enter. Also, do you need vaccine to go to that country? What other requirements? Do you have to quarantine? Do you have to quarantine when you come home? Take all this into consideration when you're going, because that week-long trip might turn into a 3-week off of work. Insurance, make sure you have insurance. We keep telling clients this and everyone says, oh, I'm gonna go no matter what, but things happen. Also, do you require a visa? And no, we don't mean that credit card visa, we mean the entry visa. We had one client who asked us to book just their airfare. They said they would take care of everything else and not to worry. So my boss booked her airfare and then received a phone call from the airport with the client in a panic saying, I didn't know I needed a visa to get into Australia. So luckily she was able to do it at the airport. You should also brush up on your language of the country you're going to if they speak something else. Also understand your country's customs. So some countries have special requirements, especially unfortunately for women, they have to wear certain clothes or have certain parts covered. And also things like, do you need
I think Jodi froze. Give us a minute. I've never experienced a freeze on Zoom before. I don't know if she knows. Let me let her know. There you are. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Uh-oh, sorry about that, guys. You guys disappeared on it and it wouldn't come up. Okay, so did you guys miss everything then?
We got to the point where you're talking about the customs of
Okay.
the countries we're visiting.
Okay, so let's go back to there. Okay, there we go.
Jodi, you need to reshare your screen.
What is going on with this, I wonder? Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, can you guys see it now? I can't see you guys, so if someone could just tell me if you see it.
We're good.
Okay, because as soon as I share my screen, you guys all disappear, so. All right, okay, so we were talking about the customs of the countries. So make sure you also know, because some countries, especially for women, there are special customs that you have to partake. Do you need power adapters or any other amenities to help your trip a little better? Safety and security. As you can see from the pictures, everyone has already started their safety protocols for COVID. There are masks required by staff and the guests. And you can see also from some of the pictures, things that have been put in place are like glass partitions, more spacing between seating. And with the buffets, there's no longer self-serve. It's all either served to you or it's self-plated. Also, there you will see some more small group travel. So a lot of the resorts and hotels and cruise lines are not filling up to capacity. So they're at a lower capacity, which helps. Make sure you bring plenty of masks and hand sanitizers and disinfecting wipes to keep yourself safe. One tidbit that I found over the years, I'm not sure if it's true, but they say that the grimiest place at the airport are those security bins that you have to put all your stuff in. So they suggest, wiping everything down that you can and making sure you sanitize after using those security bins. They say they're the dirtiest out of everything. The RFID cases, I'm not sure if everyone's aware of, but with the cases, the biggest scam now, especially in Europe, is people scanning your passports and credit card and getting the information. So when you use the RFID cases, then people can't scan your information. And of course, the general topics or the general, safety things like be aware of your surroundings, don't leave your bags untended, don't leave the valuables in your purse. Another one a lot of people don't realize is you should photocopy or take pictures of your passport and your credit card so that you have a copy, and also leave a copy at home with someone. That way, if something does happen, you have a backup copy and you can find the information that you need. So types of travel. What types of travel are there when we're ready to actually go? One of the most popular is the ocean cruising. Ocean cruising is wonderful because there's something for everyone. It's family friendly, great for multi-generations. This is where it's important to use your travel agent as someone who knows about cruising, because every cruise line is slightly different. So there are some party ships, there are some that are more aimed for family, there's more that are for couples, and there's more even for seniors. So you don't want to take your family on a cruise that has absolutely nothing to do with the kids and they're with a bunch of older people, right? They're not going to have fun. And conversely, if you want to go on a nice romantic getaway with your hubby, you don't want to be on a jam-packed family trip with lots of little kids. So you have to find the right fit for you. Some of the cruise lines are offering perks such as specialty dining, drink packages, or free Wi-Fi. So you also have to take that into consideration when you're booking your trip. See what's important to you to make your trip enjoyable. All of the meals are included, of course, with cruising. So every cruise ship will have a complimentary restaurant or two. And then now they've also started where they have specialty dining. So that is done either as a package or as a pay per meal. And then most cruise lines, you get like your coffee, tea, water, juice, and that kind of thing included, but any soft drinks are extra, other than Disney, and Disney includes it for free. There's nightly entertainment and daily activities, so you can be super, super busy. As you can see on some of these this is my daughter rock climbing on one of our trips, and her and I are doing the ropes course on another one. That was really cool. We were 17 feet up on the ship, or not 17 feet, 17 decks up on the ship. And the first time we tried it, we were at sea. So it was really windy and we only went out a little bit. Then we're like, let's try this another day. So our first day, we actually completed the course. We were in port and it wasn't as windy. There's water slides. And on the bottom corner one, you can see that's actually a racetrack on top of one of the ships. The deposits on cruising can be either refundable or non-refundable. So it's important to totally understand what you're doing, because the booking window has extended for the ocean cruising. So for instance, I'm now booking group space for 2023. So clients can book their trips for 2022 and 2023, do their deposit, it's refundable. So if something happens in 2022 and they're like, hey, I can't do it, they're not out anything, they get their money back right away. So I'm going to show you a short video on river cruising, just to give you an introduction. This is from Avalon, one of our favorite companies. We really enjoy their rooms. You can see how close they are to the shore.
It's no secret that rivers gave birth to the world's greatest cities. And now you know firsthand, they've also produced the greatest way to see them. We at Avalon Waterways are proud to bring you the industry's most inspiring river cruises.
So that was Avalon. This was the first river cruise that we went on. In the pictures here, you can see my daughter in our cabin. So what we like about Avalon is that their balconies, they don't have a balcony per se, but what happens, you slide your door open and you now have 8 feet of open air in the room, which is beautiful. So as you saw from the video, the ships are a lot smaller. They're typically 3 stories high, like 3 floors high, and they're a certain width and a certain length because they have to fit through all of the locks along the rivers, especially in Europe. With river cruising, in the morning, you wake up in the heart of the town, and it's you have an excursion every day, and which is really cool because you're in these amazing, especially Europe, you're in these amazing little towns. You get off the ship and you walk right into town quite often. There's different rivers available, such as the Rhine, the Danube, Douro, Mekong, Amazon, Nile. For me, I don't know if I'm adventurous, but I'm pretty sure a Mekong river cruise I could do, because when I go back to the ship, I know I can get my real Canadian type food that I'm used to. I'm not an adventurous eater. So these kind of ships are great. My daughter actually had 2 weeks and all she ate was chicken and French fries for dinner because she didn't like any of the food on the ship. There's a lot more inclusions on the on the river cruises, such as your free Wi-Fi, daily excursions, your wine and beer with meals. And for the excursions, I wanted to note as well, they have walking tours every day. And if you aren't sure if you can keep up with the walking tours, they actually have a slower paced one for a group. So, and there's headsets, so you can hear your guide all the time, which is really nice because you don't have to keep up with the group. There's also themed cruises. So they have cruises such as wine cruises or beer cruises, photography, art, almost any you can think of. And there's actually some celebrities that do them as well. I believe Jan Arden does a river cruise as well, and that one usually sells it within a day or two. So it's pretty fun. And the Christmas markets are one of those iconic ones. You can see the picture there. What's on your bucket list? I am interested to know. So why don't you type in your chat box, what's on your bucket list, and then we can talk about that at the end. Now, going on to the all-inclusive resorts. These are great value. Everyone's familiar with the all-inclusives. There's a different price point for everyone. You can either go cheap and cheerful, or you could go a little bit more luxurious and extravagant. It's up to you to choose. These are another great option for the multi-generational options because there's something for everyone. The pools, the lazy rivers, beaches, relaxation, so everyone can find something to do. With the all-inclusives, they're a great option because everything's included. The food, the flight, the transfers, your food, your drinks, very little to think about. So they're great. They can be really relaxing or as active as you want to be. The guided tours are another great option. I like the guided tours if you want to cover a large area such as Europe and you want to get a taste of everything and you don't want to have to think about it. So most of them, they all include your transportation and your hotels, and then some of them will include a few meals and entrances, etc. So you have to be really careful when you're booking to see exactly what is included, because some of them look like a great deal, but then when you start seeing what's included and what's not, it doesn't, it kind of equals out. There's also a different level of guidance. So some tours, your tour guide is with you all day long and is very, okay, it's 10 o'clock, we're doing this, 11 o'clock, we're doing this. Other ones, you pull up into the area and you have more free time to explore on your own. There's a variety of way of traveling. You can either go bus, hiking, cycling, whatever. There's also different levels of comfort. So some of them are roughing it all the way up to luxurious 4-star hotels. And there's also G Adventures does some through National Geographic. So they're very interesting. And the guides are there to give you highlights, and you meet local families. So I believe the one picture up on the top where it says Globus, they're meeting a local family possibly and having their cooking class. Solo travel is also becoming very, very popular. A lot of the suppliers have now realized that there's a lot of solo travelers and they're aiming programs just for that. So just as an example, just you as a company, and they do just solo travelers. And some of the waterway, like AMA Waterways, which is the one showing the single supplement picture, and the other river cruise companies are doing discounts for the single supplement. And then the ocean cruising, they're starting to design cabins, such as the one below. That's a Norwegian studio, are just for solo travelers. And on Norwegian Cruise Line, the studios, they actually have a little area that is only accessible to the solo travelers, and they have a lounge so people can meet each other and get together and go out together for dinner or whatever. So it's a really good program for them. Solo traveling with a group is a great way to meet others and still be safe and have fun. Group travel. So here, I want to talk a little bit about the pictures I have on. The bottom picture is my river cruise group that we had for Tulip Time a couple of years ago. And the top left-hand corner is Megan, one of my colleagues, when she went to Peru with G Adventures. And the other picture is my boss, Cheryl, her cruise group that they go every year. And this was on Norwegian, and they were doing their Halloween at High Sea cruise. So usually a group is 10 or more people. The ocean cruising, we do have a little bit more leeway and we can do fewer cabins if we need to. Why do you want to do a group travel? Well, you can earn discounts on the price as well as additional perks. So some of the perks range from onboard credits, free gratuities, discounted price, some other perks that they might throw in. So it's always a good idea to ask someone about that. And if we do a group, you don't have to do the work, which is great. All you have to do is help gather the people to go on it. So we do the research, find the right either cruise or tour for you, and we manage all the group details. So I've actually done a couple of weddings, which is great because the bride and groom, they don't have to worry about it. All they have to do is send out the invitations, and then the clients will email me and say, okay, what's this? What do you need? I want this cabin, I want that cabin. Well, what about this? So less work for the bride and groom, which is great. We manage all the group details. So some group ideas: multi-generational, church groups, interest-based groups such as wine, golf, gardening, etc. And the interesting one is fundraising. A lot of the cruise lines have a program for charities. If you have a charity number, then for every cruise, every cabin booked, the cruise line gives the charity anywhere from $75 to $125 per cabin. So the charity, it's a win-win situation. Their supporters get to travel and the charity gets some money. So it's a great opportunity. What makes a great travel agent? Also, why don't you type into your chat box what you think makes a great travel agent, and we can talk about that as well at the end. And why should I use one? We have the knowledge and the expertise. Now, I'm not saying we know everything because we don't. It's impossible to know it, but we have the resources to find the answer for you. We're doing tons of training with our suppliers. We're meeting suppliers, so we have that firsthand knowledge and we know where to look. The prices, we can save you money. So sometimes we have the group space booked. For instance, with Celebrity Cruise Line, our head office books a lot of group space. So I have been able in the past to find cruises for clients at really good prices, or cruises that have been sold out to the general public, but because we still hold group space, I was able to book them in. Also, we're able to look after everything for you. So we can do hotels, transfers, everything that you need for the travel, so it's less worry. And it saves you time. No longer do you have to sit on hold with like Air Canada or Disney for 2 or 3 hours to ask a question. We do that for you. I am getting to be the queen at multitasking while sitting on hold. And it's a peace of mind. You have someone there to get your back. So if your flight is canceled, we can help you reschedule it. For instance, even my boss had to use me one morning. She was trying to get her connector flight that was canceled from Turkey, and she was at the airport. She couldn't get any help. So I had to book her a flight from my end at 5 in the morning to get her onto a connecting flight so she could get home that day. And the best part about using a travel agent is quite often it's free. So if you're not sure, just ask. We're always happy to answer and explain it. So you might be wondering, if it's free for you, how do we make our money? Well, here's an example. If you book a trip through sunwing.ca and it's say $2,500, you pay $2,500. You book it through us, you're still going to only pay $2,500, but Sunwing is going to give us a commission. Whereas when you book it online, Sunwing just keeps that bit of commission. So the travel agents, we don't work for free, but we are free for you to use, and you find all of our expertise. So TECO, I'm not sure if anyone has heard of TECO, but for TECO, it is a consumer protection agency licensed by the government. So it makes sure if you book travel that your travel agency or supplier is TECO certified. What happens, basically, it's your protection. So if something should happen, say when you're down south and all of a sudden the company decides not to run, TECO is the one that steps in and they help get you home with their emergency fund. So we're coming to the end of the webinar. So here's my information. I will also post it later. And I just wanted to share quickly, this is one of our river cruises that we have booked for group cruising. This is my next adventure, the Rhine and Moselle. My daughter and I are booked on this one. So now it is time for questions and comments. Does anyone have questions? All right. Can you guys unmute yourselves, or do I have to?
Can unmute themselves.
Okay, there
Jodi.
we go. All right, so let's have a look at some of the places people want to go. So Scotland, the Loire Valley on horseback. That one sounds good, Sue. I like that. Coastal Spain, that's another popular one. Yeah, and Italy and Poland. So yeah, so everyone always has a bucket list. My bucket list, I think now I'm going to say I want to do Antarctica, and I also want to do Russia and Egypt. So I've actually found a cruise through Norwegian for 2023, and it's an Antarctica one. So I'm kind of tempted to do that one. So, all right. So let's look at our travel agents. Okay, so skills in detail and focus, good listener, yes, for sure. We have to figure out what the client wants, and we need to know how to ask the questions so that they know what they need to tell us, because they think they have told us what kind of a holiday they want, but then sometimes they don't. You know, there's those little details that you have to listen for. Good. Okay, details, yeah. Good. Iceland, yes, Iceland would be good too. Iceland Air, here's a little tip. They do a lot of trips from Canada over to Europe, and they have a program where you can do a free layover. So if you are flying and it's in one of their hub cities, you can stay, I think it's up to 4 days in Iceland, and they don't charge you anything for your layover, which is kind of fun. So, all right. Does anyone have any questions? If they want to unmute themselves, they can ask.
Sue, quick question. I've seen a lot of commercials on the Rocky Mountain.
Rocky Mountaineer?
Yes.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that? I was thinking of doing something along those lines once we open back up.
Oh yes, yeah. So the Rocky Mountaineer is an amazing way to see the Rockies. It's a Canadian trip from usually Calgary. It starts and it goes in through Banff to Vancouver. So you spend the day on the Rocky Mountaineer train, and you get your food and your drinks there. And there's a couple of different levels of service, so you have to kind of look into that. And then at night, you stop and you go and you stay actually at one of the hotels. So the price is based on your level of service on the train, so whether you're silver or gold leaf, as well as which type of hotel you pick. So but it's an awesome way. And they've actually now opened it up that they're doing it down in the States too, part of the, I think through the mountains down there. So it's very popular. Good. Any other questions? No. Yeah, Sue?
I've always wondered, what would the cost be approximately for a cruise of the Galapagos?
So the Galapagos cruises, they sell out quickly. And because the ships that are down there are generally a lot smaller, so they might be only 24 to 32 people type thing. So they are, I haven't priced them out lately, but I know they're usually around starting around 8,000 a person for the cruise portion. There's also some of the tour companies like G Adventures, and they incorporate a shorter Galapagos cruise with a land portion. And I'm not sure off the top of my head how much they are, but yeah. But I know they do sell out quickly.
Jodi,
Yeah.
I had it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Val.
Okay. I just wondered about, there's so many people now doing Airbnbs and private rentals when they're traveling. What's your thoughts on that as far as, I mean, in our new world with COVID, but safety and, you know, just any information you have on those types of things, more the private rentals. There's some really good deals, and you can go in more remote places than if you went to a resort in another country.
Yeah. So there's the good and the bad of them. They're great in that sense that you do have a lot more flexibility for smaller areas, and they're a little bit cheaper, but you also run the risk of being at the discretion of the person who's renting it. I've had my cousin, she booked for, I think it was Nashville, and a couple of weeks before they were supposed to go, a group of them of 16, they got a phone call saying, we've decided not to rent it anymore. So the person canceled it right away. But then I've also had my friend who I helped book her Airbnb in France, because it was a specific town she needed to be in to visit her daughter who was working there, and she had no problem. So, and then another time, that same friend, they had booked a trip before I became a travel agent to Europe. And when they got there, there was no sheets on the bed. And the lady's like, oh, didn't I tell you, we don't supply any linens. So there's a lot of, you know, like you don't have a lot of backup if something does happen. So that's the only thing with the Airbnbs. So, but a lot of the companies like Marriott is now getting into the home rentals as well.
Okay, so you can do those still through a travel agent?
Yeah, some of them you can.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Deb, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did actually. So I'm a person who I can't do cruising. Like it makes me ill. Like I'm, you know, I'm one of those, I get sick on ships.
Yep.
But I have been considering a river cruise, and I'm wondering if that would be more, if you think people don't get sick on those, or is it less likely, or?
Yeah, you're very, very less likely to get sick on a river cruise because the rivers are generally a lot narrower, so you don't have you don't have any waves per se. You might get a little bit of rocking if a boat goes by really fast, but it's no more than if you were standing on a dock and a boat went by.
Okay.
So I remember our first cruise, my daughter went, she was, I think 13, and we got on and she's like, where's the lifeboats? I'm like, honey, you're 50 feet from shore, you can swim it. And quite often they're so shallow that our boat actually scraped bottom on our trip. So you don't have the rocking motion, and they're wider ships. So yeah, so you don't have the motion. So.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
On the topic of river cruises, again, which one is your favorite? Because I know we were actually considering it before the pandemic started. So which one would you say, is there one in Canada per se, or would you go Europe for something like that?
Most of the river cruising are European ships. My top 3 companies would be Avalon, because we like the way their rooms are laid out, and we have a great, relationship with them. We've done a couple of groups with them already. We also like Alma Waterways. They're very, they're well done, and they're organized and very nice, relaxing. They've got great customer service as well. And the other one I really like is Uniworld. It's a little bit more over the top. It's very ornate, and my boss calls it too foo-foo for her. She likes the more sleek modern, but I really like it because it's that Baroque look, and it's just the ships. I just like, oh, I've got to go on one of those ones because I just love the looks of the rooms. They're very over the top, elegant looking. But they all depend. Like some of them, there's some newer ones starting up and they don't have as many amenities. So like say for instance, there's one called Amadeus, which I'd like to try, and they don't have the drink packet, or they don't have the drinks included, but you can buy a drink package. So for someone who doesn't drink, why pay extra, right? And they don't have quite as many excursions, which some people are fine for because they like to get out and explore themselves. But my top 3 would be the Avalon, the Alma, and the Uniworld. Okay, anyone else with a question? No? Okay, let's take a minute then and tell me where your favorite place you've traveled. Put your hand up or notify, and then we can see where your very favorite place you've ever been to. Who wants to go first? Elsie?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I am probably a person that actually hasn't gone much outside of Ontario, but have been in a few places in Europe. So I'm Portuguese, so going to Disney, going to Florida was just not in on our list. So it was like, we're traveling every other year to Portugal because that's where our family was. So probably been to Portugal more than the average folk. But for our honeymoon, my husband is not Portuguese, so we did go back to Portugal. But instead of going back to the north where we're always from, and we're spoiled because we're 15 minutes away from Spain, and about 25 minutes to the river that leads to the ocean, and about half hour to the ocean. So really rough life. But I think my favorite was when we were on our honeymoon. We actually landed in Lisbon, rented a car when we got there. I speak Portuguese, so I wasn't really afraid of getting what we needed when we got there. And we literally just did the coast all the way down south, right, like literally right along the ocean, all the way down to the south end, which was beautiful. But I have to say that shoreline was just gorgeous. And then I think my second favorite was when we went to Spain for a couple of days. We actually stayed in a castle, which was actually really, really close, right on the ocean. And I can't even remember the name of it. It's probably, I'm going to say it's about 45 minutes north of Porto, I guess. And,
Nice.
and it was just gorgeous. It was, even though it was raining on one of the nights, it was still beautiful. It was Cinco de Mayo as well when we were there. So that probably helped with the festivities. And it was just a blast. There was like musicians in the street. There was the ocean right there. Even with a little bit of spitting rain, it was just a big, huge party. Great food, great drinks, great music, everything.
Good, nice. Anyone else? Sue?
Sure, I have to say that my favorite area to visit has got to be Provence, and in particular the Avignon area. I just love that town. I love the scenery. I love the food. I love the culture. It's always a wonderful time when we go.
Nice, yes. That's one of the river cruises I want to do, is the French, the Loire Valley, and
yeah, awesome. Yeah, even when there's strikes and you can't get around, it's still fun.
Yeah. Good. All right. Anyone else? Yep, Adriana?
My husband and I actually went for our 25th year anniversary. We wanted to go to a warm place. We wanted to go to a non-common, warm place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did some research. Our girls helped, and we went to Curacao.
Oh, nice.
And I'm telling you, it is, I call it the Gentle Breeze Island, because it's warm and, you can certainly suntan, but there's this gentle breeze that just comes through at all times of the day. And then the warmth of the people. They actually are multilingual, really. They speak Portuguese. They speak Spanish, and then they have a dialect of Dutch, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very gentle people, helpful people. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Good. Excellent. All right. So does anyone have any other places or any other questions?
I just want to, I haven't traveled a lot, but it's interesting. I've done a lot of road trips, and I'm a motorcycle rider. And Ontario, for all the places that I've been, some of the places in the States, some of the places throughout Canada, Northern Ontario across Lake Superior, if you're an outdoors person or a camper or like nature or hiking, anything like that, Lake Superior, Thunder Bay into Ontario were incredible. The people were wonderful. There were quaint little shops to visit, interesting histories of writers and artists all through that part. I really enjoyed it. And I think sometimes Ontario, our local areas, we have a lot to offer in Ontario. So.
Good. Yeah, that's the thing. I think this year we'll see a lot of people doing travel in Ontario for the summer, possibly if things do open up. And that's the hard part with the COVID, is that everything is so up in the air and everything is changing from, week to week, month to month type thing. Like I have clients emailing me, so when can I go back to, such and such? I'm like, I don't know, and so we've been doing a lot of pre-planning. Like I had someone just call me up, one of my clients, and says, hey, our anniversary is in 2022. We want to take the family away. Let's start looking into that and get it booked as soon as possible. We're also predicting for the future that if people can get booked in like within the next while, it should be okay. But then we think the prices will probably go up for a little bit because the companies need to unfortunately recoup their costs that they've lost. So, so that's why I say to my clients, like, if you can and you know you're going, book now and have all the backups in place. So I know we're supposed to go to Europe in August, my daughter and I, on a Mediterranean cruise, but we were supposed to go to Paris, Amsterdam, and London beforehand. So I said, well, I think we better have a backup plan. So then we now have a backup plan of our backup plan just in case. So, but yeah, it's the travel. Unfortunately, the travel industry is so up in the air that it's changing every day. I get my emails and I look through and I'm like, oh, that's new. Oh, that's changing. So you can't really keep on top of it. So yeah. All right. Sounds good. So any other questions? No? Okay, Adriana, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Just wanted to remind everybody, I know a couple of people came out a bit later, of the Passport to Win. This is for the grand prizes, so make sure you print it out and you keep track of the webinars you have attended. And then at the end of the event, we're going to ask you to send it to me. And then you'll be entered to win. We have 4 grand prizes to be won. We announce the winners on our event page. So if you have a hard time finding where the event page is, just reach out to me and we'll get you connected there. We already had 1 winner last night. And I believe she wasn't connected to the page. So I just want to make sure that you're all there so that you know. We ask that, everybody's trying to support local small businesses or small businesses in general. So if you do win one of the grand prizes, tag the person that the business or the speaker that has given the prize. Just give them a little bit of a spotlight as well. I know that you'll be very happy with what the prizes. I mean, we have anything from gift certificates because we have gone international. So gift certificates that can be mailed out really worldwide once we get to know where exactly it is that you are. From the lowest is $25. And then we have a grand prize that is worth like $12.50. So $1,250. So, and anywhere in between there. So definitely connect with us via the event page as to that's where we'll be posting everything. Any questions with regards to any of the other events that are coming up? If you don't feel that you can't reach out, you can reach out again through the event page. You can send us a message or you can email me. I believe you have my email when we responded to you. Everything is sent to a calendar invite. So there were many Zoom links. As you know, we have 3 events a day. On Thursday, it's our Spanish speakers, and we have 4 events that day. So for us to be able to keep track of things and just streamline and make it easy for everybody, that is the choice that we've made. That way we have a link in a calendar, and then we share it with you. So if you have signed up for, 8 events, you will have 8 calendar invites, and we encourage you to accept them. That way it'll pop up 2 hours before the event so that you know it's coming up and you can prepare yourself accordingly. Okay. We go up until the end of Saturday with the events, and we're very grateful for the speakers. Thank you, Jodi, so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I know
thank you for inviting.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to reach out to Jodi if you have any questions, if you're planning a trip, any travel questions, especially with the COVID. I know she's accessible via email, via Facebook. So you can definitely get a hold of her in that particular way. At the end of tonight, we will have an extra, after the last session, we'll have an extra gift to draw for International Women's Day. And then I'll just remind everybody, we choose to challenge inequality, gender inequality worldwide. So be supportive of each other. Be supportive of other women. If you know anybody internationally that doesn't live within, Canada, the US, or first world countries, reach out to them and let them know that you're thinking about them today. Okay? Anybody have any questions? Well, then that concludes our session. Again, Jodi, thank you so much. Very informative. I definitely have some travel plans as soon as things open up, and we'll be calling you to make sure that we choose what's best for us, because that's what's important as well.
That's right.
Your expertise is very valuable to us. So, okay, everybody, thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care.
Okay, bye.
Thanks,
Bye
everyone.
now. Bye.